In the quiet hours before the dawn breaks, there is a moment when the world holds its breath. The night birds have finished their song, and the morning wind has not yet stirred the leaves. In this fragile, suspended instant, the universe reveals its oldest secret. It is not found in the noise of creation, nor in the movement of time. It is found in the stillness. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a vast, ancient forest. For years, perhaps for a lifetime, you have walked through this forest focusing only on the trees, the heavy trunks of worry, the tangled vines of planning, the falling leaves of memory. You have become so accustomed to the rustling of the branches and the sound of your own footsteps that you have forgotten to look at the space between the trees. You have forgotten the vast, open sky that holds the forest, the silence that allows the sounds to exist. Today, we invite you to stop walking. We invite you to sit on the mossy ground of your own being and simply listen, not to the noise, but to the silence that lives underneath it. There is an old story told in the high peaks of the misty mountains where the air is thin and clarity comes as naturally as the cold. It is said that a weary traveller, burdened by the weight of his own restless mind, climbed the 1,000 steps to the temple of the floating cloud. He sought out the old Zen master who lived there, a man whose eyes were as clear as a mountain pool. The traveller fell to his knees, exhausted. "Master," he pleaded, "my mind is a storm. I have thoughts of the past that bite like wolves, and fears of the future that scream like the wind. I have tried to fight them. I have tried to silence them, but they only grow louder. How do I stop the noise? How do I find peace?" The master looked at the man with deep compassion. He did not speak immediately. Instead, he poured tea into a clay cup. He gestured to the open window where a river could be heard rushing over jagged stones in the distance. "Tell me," the master whispered, his voice like dry autumn leaves, "can you stop the river from flowing by shouting at it? Can you smooth the rough water by striking it with a stick?" "No," the traveller said. "That would only disturb the water more." "Just so," the master nodded. "You are trying to use noise to silence noise. You are trying to use the mind to conquer the mind. This is the nature of our suffering. We believe that if we think hard enough, we can solve the problem of thinking. But the sword cannot cut itself, and the eye cannot see itself." The master led the traveller to a small, still pond in the temple garden. The water was covered in ripples from a gentle breeze. "Look," the master said. "The water reflects the moon, but the image is broken and shaking. You want the moon to be still. So, what must you do?" The traveller watched the water. "I must wait," he said softly. "I must wait for the wind to die down." "Yes," the master smiled. "You do not force the water to be still. You allow it to return to its natural state. Peace is not something you create. It is something you allow. It is the nature of water to be clear when it is left alone. It is the nature of your mind to be silent when you stop stirring it." We often treat our thoughts as if they are the absolute truth of who we are. We chase them like a dog chasing a butterfly, running in circles, exhausted and dizzy. We attach ourselves to a thought of anger and we become the fire. We hold on to a thought of sadness and we become the heavy stone. We fear the emptiness, so we fill every second with distraction. But the Taoist sages teach us of Wu-wei, effortless action. They teach us that the space inside a cup is what makes the cup useful, not the clay. Without the emptiness, the cup is just a solid block. Without the silence between notes, there is no music, only a continuous, deafening screech. To find this silence, we must change how we look. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. The river is your stream of thinking. Thoughts flow by. Some are dark and muddy, some are bright and sparkling, some are fast, some are slow. Usually, when a thought comes, you jump into the river and let it carry you away. You drown in the story. The practice of awareness is simply to stay on the bank. You see the thought, I am anxious. Instead of becoming anxious, you simply say, there is a cloud of anxiety floating by. You see the thought, I need to achieve more. You simply nod and say, there is the leaf of ambition. You do not push the river. You do not try to dam the river. You simply watch. And in that watching, a miracle happens. Because you are no longer feeding the thoughts with your energy, they begin to slow down. The mud settles. The water clears. And then you notice the gaps. Between one thought and the next, there is a tiny pause, a split second of nothingness. Between the inhalation and the exhalation, there is a moment where the breath stops. In that gap, there is no fear. There is no past. There is no future. There is only pure, luminous awareness. Let us rest there now. Imagine a candle flame in a windless room. It stands tall, golden and unwavering. It does not struggle to burn, it simply is. Become that flame. Feel your breath rising and falling. Do not control it. Let the body breathe itself. Notice the turning point, the top of the inhale, the bottom of the exhale. That pause is the doorway to the infinite. In this space, you realize the great paradox of the spirit. When you stop looking for peace, you find it is already there. When you let go of the need to control, the universe holds you. When you stop holding on to who you think you are, you become who you really are. You are not the clouds drifting through the sky. You are the sky itself. Clouds come and go. Storms rise and fade. The sky is never harmed by the storm. It is never stained by the cloud. It remains vast, open, and untouched. This silence within is your sanctuary. It is the unshakable ground. It has been with you before you were born, and it will remain after the body is gone. As you return to the world of noise, carry this secret with you. You do not need to retreat to a mountain cave to find the silence. The silence is underneath the traffic. It is underneath the conversation. It is the canvas upon which the painting of your life is drawn. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, whenever the river becomes too wild, take one conscious breath. Find the gap. Step back onto the bank. Remember the sky. Rest in this knowing. You are the awareness. You are the light. You are the peace you have been searching for. If this story resonated with you and brought a moment of stillness to your day, please support the channel. It helps us share this wisdom and gentleness with others who are also walking the path home. May you walk in peace.